Hello and welcome to episode 58 of the Select Characters podcast. My name is Chris Anderson. I will be your host, and I am joined, as always, by Samuel Yates.
What up?
Hey, and Enrique Cancel.
How's it going?
I've been a bit under the weather. Other than that, fine, I guess. Steam sale's going on right now. It's been a good time for video games, so you know what? Let's just talk about that. And it has been a fantastic week for video games, so let's talk about them. Who wants to go first?
Enrique does.
All right.
Apparently I do. Yay.
Yeah, there was content spilling out all over the floor just before we start recording.
No, but I mean, with Steam sales, it's weird because I'm not really interested as much as I've been in past years. Like, just for whatever reason, like I'm not jumping up to grab any games that catch my eye. I'm just kind of adding them through my wish list and mulling it over a few days. But I am playing War for the Overworld, which I had heard of a while ago. I remember a few years ago when like EA had like that disastrous attempt to reboot Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah, the mobile game, one, right?
Yeah, they made it as a mobile game. People were really excited, and then as soon as people it went live, it got like downvoted to oblivion just because I guess EA went a little too trigger happy with the microtransactions in the game.
Yeah,
where you could only dig so many blocks, and then to dig extra blocks would cost a certain amount of time, or you could expedite it by buying real gems with real money and all this other stuff. So it was an overall travesty. So a lot of people, especially fans of the series, were like really upset at them. And then around the same time, these guys had been working on the spiritual successor to Dungeon Keeper, and I guess with all the bad publicity that EA got, somebody tossed up, "Oh man, like you guys should try this game instead. It's actually a lot closer to Dungeon Keeper than this mess." And then they kind of like picked up steam from that and got a lot of advertising out of it. And I've been following for a while, and I played like early access and stuff like that, and it was very bare bones. And now that it's actually finished, I think with the Steam sale, I went back to actually give it a go, and it's a lot of fun. It pretty much captures the whole old school feel of Dungeon Keeper, and adds a couple of new mechanics. Like there's a skill tree per se that you can recruit. Cult lists is one of the monsters that you can get, where you build like a little an archives for them, and they research their little dark biddings and spells, and like they get you sin points, and the sin points you use to unlock a tech tree, which helps you unlock like traps and additional monsters and things like and rooms and things like that. So it's actually pretty cool.
Is there a campaign?
Yeah, there's a campaign. It's got the same kind of style campaign where you have to eventually plow your way to the capital and then destroy all the heroes and things like that. And there's a little expansion where it takes place after the main game, assuming you succeed and killed everybody. There's one more hero, like I guess he's got this thing called the Heart of Gold that can help him pretty much have an unlimited fortune, and you're afraid that it'll allow him to kind of like rebuild a kingdom, so you're on a quest to stop that. But it's cool. It's kind of cool. You progress to like different stages where you start off with like your little like imps and troops and stuff like that, and then as you progress to levels, you have to eventually dig your way into an enemy stronghold and destroy their inhibitor, and then kind of go from there. So it's pretty cool.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
What's the I don't know if you know this yet. I don't know how long you've been playing that game for, but what's the end game like?
I have not reached endgame yet, but I'm assuming it's more of the same, where, like I said, it's, you start off with your base, you dig out areas in the cavern, like you build out your base to recruit enemies, and you do have to kind of like maintain order within your dungeon, because you have to pay your minions, you have to feed them, you have to make sure they have places to rest, and if it's kind of like The Sims in that way, where like they have like a general like meter for joy, and then if they get unhappy, they can just revolt and either leave or cause damage to your own bases, which is kind of cool.
Right.
So there's that little thing. But overall, you're going to build up your bases, and eventually you're going to attack the enemy. And I guess as the levels go on, the enemies get progressively stronger, and they start having like unique champions that you have to take out and stuff like that. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward throughout, but it's just the further into it you get, the bigger of a challenge it was. So you need to kind of really hone your craft by the end of it. But yeah, I mean, it's not too difficult in regards to like end game content, but I mean, it's still fun enough. It's more of the same.
All right, sounds pretty good. Anything else that you dug up in the Steam sale?
Not much. Mainly going back to play old titles like The Long Dark, because the campaign's supposed to be coming up soon, and they did some fixes on that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that, because I like the concept, right, of The Long Dark. But
all money for is the campaign. Like that's the main thing. Like I want out of it.
Yeah, definitely. So, the last thing that game needs is a good story mode to really let those mechanics shine. So glad to
hear
that
Transistor though, which I hadn't played before.
Which one, sorry?
Transistor?
Oh, best fucking soundtrack in the game, son.
Yeah, so it was on sale with like the soundtrack, so I'm like, you know what? I fucking love Bastion when it was out, so Transistor seems like more of the same. So far it's really pretty.
Yeah, it's a fantastic looking game, but it sounds even better. So good.
Yeah.
That world is
but it's weird because like aside from that, I haven't really bought anything. And I was actually talking to a couple of people about this, and I feel like ever since they changed the format for Steam sales, I'm not as interested in it. And I think it's because from a marketing standpoint, they got rid of that sense of urgency they had before with like the daily deals and like the flash sales and community choice, where like they gamified the whole sale aspect of it. So as a consumer, you were really excited to sit down and like try to get a deal. And when something popped up in your mind, you're like, oh man, it's now or never. I got to get this right now before the sale ends. And you kind of, like I said, it was like this whole gamify object where you felt like you were winning every time you caught a deal. And now that you have everything as a set price for the entire sale, I find myself like, I'll look at something that seems interesting, I'll add it to my wish list, and I'll kind of mull it over. Like, I don't know if I want to get this. There's no rush to get it right now. It'll be like on sale like this until the last day, and I more often than not I end up not buying it.
Well, I sort of want to parrot something that TB said in his top 20 games that you should check out during the sale, and he made a really good point saying that the daily deals and the flash deals, they are inherently anti-consumer, because you'll miss out on some savings by not being behind your computer every time it refreshes. And me personally, I'm glad that the whole game thing is just gone. Just give me all the video games I can buy for cheap, and I'll buy them, and just leave me alone. But that is me personally.
I think there's two sides to that coin, though, because if it is the whole time they run the whole sale, then the discounts aren't as steep as they are during a flash sale.
I think but
it's just not realistic.
It has a sense to like hyperbolize things, and I don't really think it was nearly as anti-consumer as people think. Like Sam was saying, the fact that they went on sale, I mean, people would often get a lot bigger discounts because of it, and now because you're getting a steady stream of revenue from the sale throughout, I feel like the price points aren't as low as they usually are, like as they could be.
I don't really think that matters a lot in the end. In the end, the only thing you're doing is you're buying from a store. You exchange money for video games. No need to gamify that in any way, shape, or form. Just give me discounts on games I'd like to play. And that's exactly what Steam is doing. Plus, with the whole, what's the word I'm looking for? The whole refund policy they've got now, it's just not feasible anymore to have daily deals and stuff, because they will have to deal with an insane amount of requests.
But again, I mean, like I was saying, like the gamifying thing, I think from a marketing standpoint, I think it was one of the best ideas they had before, because
it's more fun.
Yeah, it's more fun. For a lot of people, it creates that sense of urgency that makes you want to buy things when they pop up. Whereas now, it's just, I feel like their sales just don't seem as appealing now.
The sales haven't been fun since the Christmas one where you could get coal.
Yeah.
It's all been downhill ever since then. The sales used to be extra awesome when you were buying these little indie games, trying to unlock specific achievements to like turn them into other games or cards or whatever. It was actually exciting. It was more than just the shopping aspect. It was the shopping and the playing, like kissing and making a beautiful little baby. and then they split up and it became just the shopping, and that was, I guess it was okay to like spend time at dad's house instead or whatever, but then now it's not even that, it's just Tuesday.
I mean, that was a really oddly specific example, but I agree though. Yeah, it's just like I said, it's that sense of urgency and that gamifying, that that excitement that it created. It's no longer there. So when you look at the sale, like you said, it's just another day. It's no different than EA having a sale or Amazon having a random sale. Like it's what everyone else is doing.
And are the discounts not as deep as they used to be, or is that my mind?
I don't know. I mean, that could be entirely subjective, but I feel like they're not. I feel like I'm seeing discounts that aren't as big, and like I said, maybe it's because they're around for the whole remainder of the sale that the developer doesn't feel like it needs to be any lower, because I
don't agree with that at all. I don't get the feeling that the discounts aren't as deep as they were before. Some games maybe, but I don't feel different with this sale than I did with the sale 3 years ago, other than the fact I can now just get what I want on day one and then forget about it for the other 2 weeks instead of having to come back every day to check new stuff. I actually like the new form, and I understand why you guys miss it, but I never liked the meta game things and so on. I really didn't like the playing of the indie games to unlock other stuff, because I don't usually tend to go for indies, do I? So
no. See, I'm the complete opposite, though, because I remember like 3 years ago, I was having a blast, and I actually enjoyed the act of logging in every day and, seeing what's on sale, like to the point where, like, I mean, even outside of the sale, I'd be texting friends and we'd be trying to give each other heads up saying, oh, dude, this thing just went on sale, you got to grab it real quick. And it was it felt like more of a fun community event.
Oh, I don't disagree. Like, I was the same, but since we have this now,
you're just old and crotchety, and you just
I'm just cool with this as well. It's all the same to me.
This sucks.
This sucks. But some people say it's because you already own all the games that are on sale.
Oh no, I've got 160. I don't own all of them.
I think in my case that might be true, but I also just think I can look at it objectively and say, no, it used to be more fun. Yeah. The daily deals and the flash sales weren't fun per se, but it was cool to see some stuff bubble up a little bit and to sort of, I know we have the Discovery queue, but that's not quite as good of a replacement.
No, the Discovery queue seems more like a really irritating chore, just to, like, you go through it to clear it out and that's it.
Yeah, just to get the cards, right?
I don't know, man. I still have a healthy wish list, so it's not like I own all the games that I want. It's just, like I said, the fun aspect of the sale isn't there anymore, so I look at it, it's just, meh.
All right.
I'm lukewarm towards it.
That's fair enough. Anything else that you have been playing outside of the Steam sale? And things that are not Overwatch?
No, Endless Dungeon. That was actually surprisingly fun. I got the code from Sam a few weeks ago when I guess it was an indie bundle you had a code for?
The monthly thing. That game's called Dungeon of the Endless.
So, yeah, Dungeon of the Endless. But, dude, like, that game is actually really freaking fun.
That game's great. I know.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie though, it took a little bit to kind of get into the swing of things because I guess I didn't really understand the way the party makeup works and the whole having to leave people behind to kind of establish a little safety route while you explore and all that.
Yeah, because the monsters won't come out of the dark rooms, and what you start doing is trying not to triple stack dark rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like there's this whole like meta layer of like creating a strategy of like what rooms you want to light up and have like the right strategy, and they kind of forming your exit route before you're ready to take the crystal out because they're going to start charging you after that. So it's a lot of fun so far.
All right then, sounds good. It's made by the same people as the ones that made Endless Legend, right?
Which is another great one. I actually also bought a little bit of the DLC for that one too.
Oh right. Anything new in that DLC? I've not been keeping up to date on that. So
I mean, the main thing, it's weird because like the game almost plays like a free to play, like a freemium game where you can buy the DLC just adds like extra races. It doesn't really add too much in terms of like gameplay. Mm-hmm. I think one of them adds like the espionage thing, but it's it's all right. But one of the new races is really cool because I guess I forget what they're called. It starts with an A or something. But they, depending on what season it is, like their gameplay mechanic changes. Where when it's summer, I guess like when it's like the latter seasons, they're more passive and like more about like gathering and things like that. And then when it goes to winter, they actually get bonuses to their attack because you're supposed to play them as more of like a conquering force during the winter months. So it's kind of interesting.
All right then.
That sounds awesome.
Did you? By the way, as an aside, did you notice how Civilization 6 is incorporating the district stuff?
Yes, I'm so excited for it. Yeah, and I guess like the topography is going to take an effect into the game, where I guess you're not just going to cram everything into like the city tile.
Yeah, it's going to be spread throughout, where you can upgrade individual districts and stuff. I'm really glad that is coming to Civilization 6 because that was one of the most fun things to do in Endless Legend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of cool because I think Civ 5 is when they made the big change with the military units where like you couldn't just like stack them before and have like one super army.
Yeah, no stacks of doom anymore.
Yeah, it made it so you actually had to think about, like your deployment and kind of like it made the military game a little bit more complicated. So I hope it's going to be doing the same thing for the actual like city aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really, really, really looking forward to that game.
Yeah, but like I said, aside from that, just there's a couple of indie titles that I'm putting in my queue and I'm just kind of asking around. See, that's the other thing what I'm saying. Before, if like 3 years ago, I wouldn't have bothered to ask anybody if the game was good. If I saw it was on sale, I just impulsively buy it and then deal with it afterwards. But now I'm putting it in my queue and I'm looking around my friends list, people that have it, like, hey, is this game any good? Like, would you recommend getting this? Is it worth it?
Maybe with age comes better impulse control.
No, that's not true. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
You should get Ballroom though. How much was it?
I want to say it was like $5 or $6.
Yeah, it's worth it for $5 or $6.
All right.
That's about it. What about you guys?
All right, Sam.
I'm not allowed to talk about Overwatch, huh?
Well, you are allowed to talk about Overwatch, of course.
I don't have anything new to add.
Actually, we'll talk about Overwatch, but we'll talk about the next segment because there's actually some news I wanted to talk about.
Oh, there's some news on my show notes list as well about Overwatch, so people listening will be subjected to it regardless.
All right, interesting. All right, well, let's go.
Okay, cool. Oh God, all right. What else? Oh man, Kairosoft came out with a new Android game where you build a little arcade.
Right.
so that's kind of cool. I think it's called Arcade Story.
Is it like a game dev simulator, or
it's like that, but instead you're running an arcade. It's not their best game ever, but
okay.
They haven't released one in a little while, and so you put all your little stuff in, and you can adjust like how hard the crane machine is, and all the other little things in the layout. You try and match up the machines. It's one of those little sim. It's basically 2 steps away from an idle game.
Okay,
that's fun. I don't know. There's not a lot to say about that, but I like Kairosoft games. So if anybody was wondering if there was a new one, there is now a new one. What else? I bought Dying Light in the Steam sale.
Oh, dude, that
did you buy the
so
enhanced
tense.
edition or?
Yeah, the following enhanced edition, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard that one doesn't actually include the DLC.
I think it does. I don't know. I was torn on that too, because the main game is called Dying Light the Following Enhanced Edition, and then when you go to the DLC called The Following, it says requires Dying Light the Following Enhanced Edition. But I want to say in the description it says it's there, and I also think from the main menu I can play it.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with a soft yes on that one.
So what do you think of the game itself?
It seems all right. I've only played it for about 20 minutes, kind of getting out of the tutorial area and everything. Mm-hmm. It's nice. It's a looker.
Oh yeah, it's a really pretty game.
The first skybox was really cool. Looking out the window and seeing that city down there was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
The free climbing stuff seems like it's well done. Like I said, I haven't really gotten too far, but so far it seems interesting. I want to see what's going on. There was one part, though, where I got off an elevator. They were like, you need to go down to the 13th floor and find some dude.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk out and it's just like chaos everywhere, and there's like blood all over everything, and they do this thing, like they sent somebody to a community college directing class where they learn to show not tell, and they do this real slow pan over to this baby carriage and then just look at it for like 15 seconds, like way longer than you would think. That was hilarious. I don't know what the hell they were trying to do there, but that's like the defining moment for that game so far, because I haven't gotten very far into it.
That's still like near the tutorial area, so you haven't actually gone out at night, have you?
No, I haven't even gotten out of that building
yet. Dude, that's
okay.
Fucking terrifying. I did it once for about 2 minutes, and after that I endeavored to never go out at night unless I absolutely had to. It is terrifying.
Yeah, it seems cool though. I mean, I'm excited to get more into it, so I figured I'd touch on it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good game.
Just to bring it up, but no, besides that, it's a pretty light week for me.
All right,
Played a lot of Overwatch. That's not good to talk about.
Yeah, so much Overwatch for me this week as well. I did buy a couple of new games during the sale. I bought Age of Mythology Extended Edition, and I bought the Age of Empires 3 Complete Edition for nostalgia's sake, essentially.
Okay.
I'm still terrible at RTSs, or at classic RTSs, but it just feels so good to play them again with slightly better graphics. And
especially the Age of Mythology ones, though. Those were a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely, with all the god powers and what have you. That's pretty cool.
Kind of a segue. You know what that makes me miss? You remember Black and White?
Oh, dude, yeah. I need to replay the second one.
Yeah, like I really wish like there was some kind of updated version of it.
I kind of like, a part of me wants Peter Molyneux to make that again, but a different part of me wants a completely different studio to make a new Black and White.
I mean, Peter Molyneux can run the ad for it. He can run the marketing campaign.
It's just going to be a side story of those 3 singing sailor dudes. That's going to be the whole game.
Everybody's favorite part of the first game. It was frustrating though, because you had to, if I remember correctly, you had to throw something somewhere, and that was really hard to do. I don't know.
I just like the idea that you scold your avatar for like accidentally killing a bunch of villagers, like it's a bad child.
Yes. I mean, it was a really great game when it first came out. The second one is my personal favorite because it looked better and it was more of a city builder than the first one was.
Mm-hmm.
But just the base mechanics in both games are pretty awesome. I'd love to go back to that world, actually. It's nothing like it has been released since, right?
Yeah. Nothing I can think of.
Maybe someday. I bought another one, and I bought that game, I think, this morning, and that's... Jesus, what's that bloody game called? Burnout Paradise, the Ultimate Box.
Great choice.
Yep, it is a lot of fun. I played it on the Xbox 360, I believe, when that came out, and I hadn't played it for years, so I put in 25 minutes this morning, and I loved it. It's just chaos and high speed and just fantastic. It's a really good arcade open world racer that isn't bogged down by all the open world stuff you see in more recent races. So that's good.
Oh yeah, two thumbs way up.
yeah, it's definitely a good game. So I'll be playing that more. Do you guys actually have that? If so, we can probably still play together because I think the servers are still online.
Really? I might look into it. You got me intrigued now. I know I liked the heck out of that game a while back. So
I played it back on the 360 though, but I remember it being like really fun because I think it was one of the last really good Burnout games.
Yeah, they've not made another one after that, did they?
I think there was a couple other ones, but I think, or maybe not.
And then those dudes made Dangerous Golf, or some people from that team made Dangerous Golf. But I haven't played that, so I don't know.
Apparently that one's not great.
Burnout got into this weird thing because I remember when it first came out, it was like a really fun, just like street racer. Mm-hmm. And then I guess like they wanted to capitalize on what Forza was doing, so they started getting away from the open world street racing and more into like very strict, stay on this track and very low ball kind of customizing the cars. And I remember the series kind of tapered off for a while. And I think Paradise was one of the last ones where you picked it up and it actually captured that feeling of like the old school Burnouts where it was just high speed chases, high octane. It felt like you were playing like the chase scenes from Bad Boys 2.
I'm all about that crash mode, man.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That you could explode the thing, you can throw it somewhere, and then you can explode the thing. Yeah, that's
my favorite part. And you got like the after touches on it, trying to rack up all the dollars.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great franchise. And geez, I've got the name again. Burnout Paradise is a really, really good open world game, like open world racing game. So yeah, awesome. Other than that, I played a little bit of DayZ because the patch is released to stable servers now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And it runs fantastically now. It
nice.
It just does, but there are no zombies in the game. Yeah, it was completely empty when I played it, and I walked around for about 40 minutes, saw nothing, absolutely nothing.
Well, it's funny because like they always do that when they release a new patch because like one of the first things they get rid of is zombies because I guess they want to make sure everything's running smoothly before they have like the high population zombies back in, and it's always funny because when the new version comes out, first thing people complain about is like they come in and they're like there is nothing here.
Yeah, it's just empty. So what's the point,
Right.
I know that a lot of people like that game, and I played the hell out of the mod, but I'm not optimistic about DayZ's future as a standalone title.
We have to get our resident DayZ expert in here to weigh in.
We will question him when he's back. But no, I'll just leave that game be for now, until they're actually patching something that is fun to do, because great performance is fantastic and all that, but if you've got nothing to do in the game, what's the point of having fantastic performance? Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, it isn't. But that's everything for me. So shall we move on to the news?
Let's do it.
Yeah, so I guess it wouldn't be a podcast without Overwatch talk, so let's talk Overwatch again. But one thing I want to talk about was they actually released a newer patch today, but for consoles only. It was a balancing patch, one of the first ones, and for this one they were actually adjusting the damage of Torbjorn's turrets, I think lowering it by 30%. And I thought it was actually kind of interesting what we're talking about because I remember a few months ago Blizzard stated that they were actually going to be looking at console and PC, the gaming actually differently in terms of balancing. So we had the patch a few weeks ago that released, and it lowered, I think, the damage of McCree's Fan the Hammer, and it also adjusted the damage on Widow's body shot, so she wouldn't be doing one-shotting characters like Tracer or Zenyatta. And then we have the console version patch that just came out, and you hear no mention of McCree or Widow, but instead Torbjorn. Apparently, it's a big sore point for a lot of players to the point where they actually had to mitigate a lot of his damage doing. So I just thought it was kind of interesting because it shows, I guess, the two different markets and how the game is being played a little bit differently in terms of like the team comps and characters that you see.
Well, it's not just that. It's that players on consoles have to use a controller to play the game. And as such, you can't react to things as quickly as you can with a mouse and keyboard. And then something has auto-aim, like Torbjorn's turret, can be pretty hard to deal with if you're just on a controller instead of a mouse and keyboard.
I have noticed, I was actually at my buddy's place and we played a little bit of Overwatch on his Xbox One. And I noticed that the team comps on console, you see a lot more, I guess, spray and pray kind of characters, or team builds that don't really rely a lot on accuracy. There's almost no Widows, almost no Hanzos. There's a shit ton of 76.
Sounds like Paradise.
Bastions. There's what is it, Divas and stuff like that, and like Torbjorns. And it seems like like I guess like you were saying, because I was talking to a couple of friends of mine, they mentioned that the accuracy is not as big of a thing on console because of the fact that it's not as sensitive. So I think that's why you kind of get those characters where it's, you know, it's more about just doing a general area of damage versus like targeted damage.
Yeah, exactly. It's good that they decided to balance both the PC version and the console version differently.
Oh, for sure.
That's just good.
I think the thing I read said his win rate was like 70% on console.
Yeah, and it's because a couple of threads that I was reading at, I think people were complaining because the comp would literally, you know, people would just set up 3 Torbjorns and you couldn't take down the turrets essentially.
Yeah,
but which is funny because like on console, you know, on PC, one of the first things that people should be doing, and it's really relatively easy to do, is just to snipe off the turret, and it becomes
get a Genji.
Yeah, or get a Genji. It becomes almost negligible.
Yeah. Oh, but you know, dealing with Torbjorn on PC, more than one Torbjorn is hard enough.
I mean, I'll say this though, yeah, and I think both console and PC can agree that the damn snap aiming on that turret is a little ridiculous.
Oh no, I think it's fine on PC. You just have to be smart about it, and it's pretty easy to get rid of him if you get a Genji in there, or you get a sniper to do that for you, and that happens all the time. Now people are still having more trouble with Bastion than they are with Torbjorn on PC. At least that's what I found.
See, I've been lucky enough to play with a couple of groups that, like, I mean, Tracer is a great counter to Bastion because just blink behind him and you can light up his little weak spot.
Yep.
Or, you know, like you said, someone like Hanzo or Widow can just take him out.
Yeah. Still, a lot of people seem to have a really hard time with Bastion on PC.
I never have a trouble with either of them in a vacuum, but it's when they combine themselves with the rest of the team, like that's when they start to get real annoying. So that's not even, I don't think, that character's fault necessarily, so I wouldn't imagine that they need any tweaks. It's just frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like the main tweaks that they've been doing are just addressing like very specific characters and like situational abilities.
So. Yeah. And now we are in the we are close to the release of competitive play as well. It's up on the new public test server for both the American regions and the Asian regions, I believe. So you can test that out right now. And I'm actually really ready for competitive play to begin. Man, because I'm starting to lose steam with quick play.
I am super hesitant on that because it seems like... So I usually have like a steady group of people that I play with, and it's anywhere between 4 to 6 people at a time. So like we have a decently sized team. But when we've been finding more and more that I'm going up against, because we're by virtue of having an organized team, you're automatically better than just random pickup groups. So we're starting to get placed against, you know, other preformed teams, and I've noticed that the trash talking and toxicity is kind of starting to peek its ugly head. And it's getting a little irritating for me because, like yesterday I was playing with my buddy Roy, and it was just me and him, and I think one more guy joined us, and then we were just, it's just random groups, and they were getting very irritated about you not playing the way they wanted you to.
You think that's going to be worse and competitive? Is what you're saying?
There's no doubt about that. Let's be honest.
Let me hit you with this counterpoint, though. Golden weapons and animated spray.
I know that is true.
Golden weapons and animated spray. Did you see the skins
for the golden weapons?
I didn't even know about the animated spray. Oh, God. I want that.
I know you do. None of us are ever going to get it. I think it's for like the top 500 people or something. It looks like
gorgeous. And I know, I think it's cool that they're giving like really cool aesthetic rewards. But like I said, just from a gameplay standpoint, I'm very hesitant because I know I've seen it firsthand with League of Legends and fucking Dota and even Heroes of the Storm, that as soon as they release that rank play, it's just people get something up their ass and just start like spitting out vitriol.
But that's just in ranked play. I mean, quick match in Heroes of the Storm is a lot more pleasant than playing the Hero League. And if you don't mind not being competitive, or at least not in the sense that you want to progress through a series of ranks, you can just play quick match and be done with it. I mean, it's a completely optional thing for people who just
Don't you think it's my right to want to enjoy competitive play without having to suffer through that like vitriol?
Well, yeah, but it's also the right of everybody else.
No, it's not.
To speak the way they want.
No, it is not. It is not anybody's right to spew nothing but like foul, dark hatred.
Dude, that's what the report button is for.
You have to take it and you have to use it, and you have to let it fuel your engines to become good enough to make them shut up.
Yep.
Oh,
Plus, they'll probably implement a way to turn off chat anyway. I've already turned off voice chat in game because it can't be fucked with that.
I don't know, dude. It's just like yesterday we played a match with, I don't even know who the hell she was, but apparently she had won several first place awards in, I guess, Overwatch leagues, and she was a big Twitch celebrity, is what she was telling us.
Well, la-di-da.
And I mean, I was a little annoyed because I was playing with Roy and our buddy, I think John, and we were getting annoyed because we were doing a payload map, and those two were treating it like a team deathmatch. So
oh yeah,
they got to get those
apparently
views, man.
because the three of us would be standing on the payload, waiting for it to move, and they're running off, trying to pick off like players. So Roy so kindly reminded them, "Hey, this isn't team deathmatch," and man, she like lost it just telling us about her achievements. I asked her what her Twitch channel was because apparently she was streaming it, but she never gave it to me. So I will never know. If anybody saw, if anybody saw us playing on Twitch, just give us a shout out.
But if people don't want to play together, they will be part of teams that don't win, which means they will stay at the bottom of the pile. I mean, playing together and playing well together is really important in Overwatch. And if you don't do that, your team's probably not going to win anything.
It is,
and you are going to go nowhere.
I think you're underestimating how easy it is to pass the blame.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter for the game itself. The game just records a win or a loss, and if you lose, you're going nowhere. And if you don't play with your teammates...
The only thing I'm upset about is that while they're typing, they could be...
and it's funny because we actually made that comment.
I don't care what they're typing.
We made that comment where she was trying to like spot out or criticizing our strategy, and then all Roy says, hey, the time you just typed that, you probably could have gotten a few kills.
Oh yeah,
I'll play with the worst person in the world. I'll play with them as long as they're good. I don't care. Whatever, man. Like mute them or ignore them, no problem.
Yeah.
Maybe leave it on. Sometimes they come up with interesting new combinations, but it doesn't.
Yeah. There's a mute option in the game right now. If somebody's being a dick, just mute them.
Yeah, but I think with the rank play coming out, I think I'm probably going to limit that to preformed teams, just because I really don't want to be dealing with that.
Neither do I, which is why I mute people if they annoy me. But that's me.
Did you see the thing where they said that there was the Widowmaker guy who had so many people on his avoid list that he couldn't matchmake anymore?
Oh, that's fantastic.
There was a guy, I think he was like a pro or something, but he was so good with Widowmaker that so many people had added him to their avoid list that it would take him 15 to 20 minutes to matchmake.
That's sad.
Dude, that's amazing.
So they took that feature out. It's funny.
Oh, is it solely because of that guy?
I don't know if it's solely. Probably also people like him, but that's very funny.
That's amazing. Like, dude, we're really sorry. We know you rock. We know everybody knows, but that's why you can't play with other people.
Throw a couple of matches, like let them feel good about themselves.
Just give them an opening. That's all we ask. I'm really excited for the future of Overwatch, man. I'm working on new maps, new heroes, new balance tweaks, and all that. So it's good. If you're listening to this, are you fucking sick of Overwatch? I'm going to have bad news for you. The three of us, we still really like it, so it's probably going to be coming back quite a few times over the past month or over the next couple of months. Sorry about that. It's just the way things are going. Do you want to talk about some other news, do you?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I do.
Do you guys know what G2A is, or grey market key resellers?
Yes,
what
I do.
Those are. Well, apparently a publisher called Tiny Games, they've been investigating G2A, and apparently G2A sold $450K worth, as in dollars, worth of keys via their platform that were gotten from the official Tiny Build store, and then people just got their money back by asking for a what do you call that? A credit card chargeback.
Oh, that sucks.
So they got the key and they got their money back, and then they sold that key for a profit on G2A. And I'm not going to lie here. I have used grey market resellers in the past, and for the time
You're part of the problem,
being,
sir.
Sorry?
You're part of the problem.
Yes, I'm definitely part of the problem, and I want to talk about that as well, because I do believe that I know that what I'm doing by going to a grey market reseller, I might be buying a key that is stolen, essentially. I might be buying a legit key as well. The fact is, I don't know. But on the other hand, it's not up to the consumer to not use a legal loophole for as long as it's there.
Wait,
it's not...
What? Can I ask you real quick, do those keys still work?
Yes.
The ones that were bought through a chargeback, the keys are still good?
The ones I bought, over my lifetime, I bought maybe 5 or 6 games from a grey market reseller, but every single key that I bought worked.
Well, I mean, these $450,000 worth of keys, like, if they buy the key and then do a credit card chargeback, doesn't the key get deactivated or no?
Apparently not, or else it would be pretty much impossible to sell them for $450,000, you know?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well,
that seems like
rough.
an oversight on their end.
Yeah, a massive oversight. Like, what G2A is essentially acting as a sort of eBay for video games. So you and I, if I got a key from a bundle somewhere, or I got an extra key from buying a video card or something like that, right? I can just go to G2A and make an account and then sell it for how much I want. If you look at that particular scenario, it shouldn't be harmful, but it becomes harmful when people stop buying games because they can just get keys for free via bundles and sell them on and stuff like that.
Right.
That is not damaging to mainstream game development, but it is very damaging to smaller developers and publishers.
It kind of sucks because I actually met the Tiny Build guy, because the name seemed familiar. I looked them up because they're the guys that did Punch Club, they did Boyd and Divided by Sheep, and I actually met them a few years ago at PAX South.
Yeah.
And they're generally nice guys. Like they're a group of people trying to make just indie titles, and they got a really cool mentality behind it and like a lot of passion. And it just kind of sucks that, I guess, from a personal standpoint, that they're kind of going through this because, like you said, it's just, if for a big AAA developer, they might not feel it, but for these, like little indie developers, this is their livelihood. So the fact that they're getting fucked over so bad, because I mean, they're almost a huge chunk of their profit is getting knocked out because of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can read you bits from their blog on tinybuild.com if you like.
Yeah.
They say that the financial impact is actually huge. They've been dismissing the existence of G2A as something serious for a very long time. And he says, sure, a few games leak here and there, nothing major. For a few months, we supported our own little store on tinybuild.com just so we can give some discount to our to our fans and do creative giveaways that include scavenging for codes. The shop collapsed when we started to get hit by chargebacks. I'd start seeing thousands of transactions and our payment provider would shut us down within days. Moments later, you'd see G2A being populated by cheap keys of games we had sold on our shop. Coincidentally, this is when we were having discussions about partnering up with G2A and how that would work. I really wanted to find out what kind of financial impact this marketplace can have, and after asking for sales stats in 3 separate discussions, I finally have them. From the email, Speedrunners Early Access Global, 24,517 units sold with an average price of 6.26 euros per unit. Punch Club Global, 1,251 units sold with an average price of 8.72 euros per unit. And Party Hard Global, 890 units sold with an average price of 7.95 per unit. That is all income that has been denied to them by G2A, by the way G2A works, and by the way their shop works. It's pretty serious, this, obviously. And even as someone who has used them in the past, I can see how this can become problematic. And something has to be done to stop people from doing this. Because as long as the loophole is there, people will use it, right?
Right.
So, and it's not something you want to get rid of. Like, you want people to be able to trade keys around, I would think.
It's exactly because of reasons like this why I think it was until last year that Humble Bundle required you to sign in with your Steam account, so everything that you redeem would be automatically bound to your Steam account. That's
that's right.
That was a response.
And when I was trying
to
buy Chaos Theory for you guys, I could only buy it twice, and I had to use PayPal and credit card, and then they were like, "Nope, sorry, that's all you get."
Yeah, they do have a bit about revoking keys if you're interested. Because
tell me about that, because that's the part I'm interested in.
Yeah. So he says a lot of people have been asking about revoking keys. It seems like an easy, no-brainer solution. Simply disable the keys that leaked or are being sold illegally. And the problem with
that's
this...
what I was going to say. Yeah. He's going to tell me why I'm wrong.
Yes.
The problem with this is that it's a bit more complex, apparently. Like, you have some keys which are from legit bundles, right? Mm-hmm. Others from a bunch of fraudulent credit cards and random keys scavenged from giveaways. These would be from at least 3 different batches. How do we track which one to disable? Now imagine when we have hundreds of these batches. Large corporations tackle this by having a ton of people working on tracking smaller batches, but we want to stay small and nimble. This means automating as much as possible. And even if we were to spend a lot of time on micromanaging this, it wouldn't solve the overall problem. Awareness of the general issue is what makes an impact.
Maybe I'm just imagining this, but aren't a lot of retailers, like those bundle packs too, aren't they just consolidating the codes as well now?
They give you, I think it's called a G2A shield, which is just buyer protection, which means that if you buy a code and it's been either blocked or already redeemed, you can go back to G2A and get your money back or a new key.
No, I'm talking about like from the actual company, like those like the Humble bundles and things like that. Because I think I've come across a couple bundles where you buy like a group games, but instead of giving you like an individual code for each game, it's starting to be just one massive code that you redeem, and that's automatically adds those games in their entirety.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a way to solve that problem, definitely. I know that Ubisoft and EA have blocked keys bought from grey market resellers in the past, but the volume is so large that it's very hard for any company, really, to find out every single one of the keys that has been blocked.
And it kind of sucks because, especially with like was it UK that had like the legislation that passed a few years ago that said digital content is yours when you buy it. It's it's not like that. You're not leasing a right to play.
Yeah, I think that's European Union legislation actually.
Oh, that's right, not UK anymore. Take that, guys. No.
Oh, no, they are. They're like, for the next 2 years, they still are members of the EU. So
yeah, but yeah,
we can safely just refer to them as EU.
But they had that, like that little referendum where, if you bought it, you owned it. So as a consumer, you had the legal right to sell it because you owned the property. So from that standpoint, like you said, it seems kind of benign when you have a website that just facilitates that. We're like, hey, I don't want this code anymore. Yeah. Somebody can, else can have it.
It's not G2A's fault that people are stealing, obviously, because they don't facilitate that. What they do facilitate is a means for stolen goods to be sold to other parties.
And at that point, you kind of have to ask the question, like, at what point does G2A need to step in and take responsibility, saying, hey, this is clearly an issue that we're facilitating. Do we need to step in and do something about it? Or do we just sit back and let it happen?
They have answered to this particular story. Actually, I've got the statement here in front of me. If you want to know it.
You're just all over it today.
Yeah. Yes. It's almost as if I'm trying to be the host.
Before we do that, though, it seems like from that statement, they're also worried about the reselling of keys from anywhere, not just the credit card chargeback keys, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is messed up. I think they could easily keep track of the credit card chargeback keys and revoke them. That's just a spreadsheet. But they're like, oh, we give them away, and they go through Humble bundles and blah, blah, blah. All that stuff is a person who actually bought it, and it's theirs to resell if they want to. Mm. So that's where I'm at, though. But carry on.
All right. So they have released a statement, G2A, but it's translated from Russian. So if it's a bit broken in places... excuse me, or excuse the person who translated it. At G2A, we believe in being innocent until proven guilty, meaning we believe that all of our 200k merchants are legit until proven otherwise. We support merchants and assume they operate within the law. Of course, unfair players appear in any business, which unfortunately includes our system. Nonetheless, G2A does not hold any liability for vulnerabilities in someone's billing system. We are sorry that TinyBuild shop was attacked and that it impacted their negotiations with G2A. We hope to restore a good relationship because our door is always open for cooperation. G2A has lots of experience working directly with developers and publishers of different sizes. For example, recently we had a promotion with 21 developers and publishers from post-Soviet countries participated in. During the promotion, G2A did marketing pushes for the partners without taking additional revenue for itself. This promotion was supported by known companies like Gaijin, Bitbox, and HeroCraft, Neki, Nival, and many others. G2A is always open to working with developers and publishers, and we are working together to make the marketplace better for gamers. Not only that, but we also invite all developers and publishers experiencing problems with chargebacks to use our G2A Pay solution for their stores. It's free and we guarantee 100% security of payments and cover all expenses associated with chargebacks, preventing any losses from our partner's side. So not only do they deny liability, which is theirs really, but they use this situation to try and get them to use their payment solution.
I was like, wait a minute, like that sounds like.
Yes,
your Russian is
It is actually. I mean, I don't even speak Russian. I understood it.
Nazvidanya. I don't know what that is. I know that's a Russian word, but I don't know what that is. So
I remember hearing it in Rocky.
I've offended somebody.
You might have, yeah. But
I don't know, man. I don't know. I want it to exist because of the convenience aspect of it.
Yeah.
People need a way to buy, sell, trade keys. I think flat out, I can say that.
Yeah, and I think we should also say that if you, and I don't say that to sort of free myself of any guilt, but you should be able to buy these keys even though you don't know where they are from. They might be legit, they might not be legit, but as long as the opportunity is there, you are not guilty for buying them because you don't know. Right?
And you accept the risk. You accept the risk that it might not work. That's part of the discount that you're getting.
Yes.
You're saying, okay, this might not work. And if you're like really risk averse, then you buy their shield thing or however the heck all that works.
Yeah, the G2A shield thing is a beast in and of itself because apparently it's really, really hard to cancel that. Like you have to go through like 10 or 14 different menus until you can cancel it.
I don't know how I feel about the response because the pessimist in me wants to say that they're pretty much just saying, not our problem, and while you're at it, let's be opportunistic and try to cash in on this.
Yeah, and the thing is, they are actually completely right in that they are not liable for any damages suffered because they don't buy the actual keys. They don't sell the actual keys. They enable third parties to sell the keys through their platform.
But aren't they still making a profit off of it, though?
Yes.
So at that point, if they're collecting money off of it, I don't see it. I guess on paper you could say, yeah, we're legally on the side of the angels, but the fact is that at this point they're technically knowingly making a profit off stolen keys.
No, they don't. They don't know which keys are stolen.
Oh, no, they don't know specifically which ones, but they know that there's stolen keys going through it.
Is it even feasible? I mean, it seems like it's not even feasible for them to send every key and go, hey, are these good? And like wait for the developer to go, yeah, that's fine.
It needs to be a central database or something like that so you can check and compare stuff.
Yeah.
But how?
Man, that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate on all sides, really.
It is. Like you're always better off just buying the games on Steam, for instance, during the Steam sale, or in just brick and mortar stores.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Because those keys are genuine. Sorry?
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, this is why digital gaming is going to be locked off more and more in the future, because stuff like this exists, and we still don't have a proper answer. To a digital reselling market, right?
And I hate it because this is why things like Uplay and games for Windows Live are become so rampant, because from the developer and publisher standpoint, it's like, you know what, we don't want to deal with this because obviously companies like G2A aren't going to lift a finger to take any responsibility for it, so they need to cover their own asses. And in the end, I think it breeds an environment where, we might not feel it now, but it opens some doors where things can become really convenient for the consumer.
It's a tough one, this one.
Just don't be a dick.
That's, I mean, yes, but also if there's it's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not illegal, but it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Yeah, it's grey market stuff. Yeah, it's. I'll stick to my guns.
Would you say it's a grey area?
It's a massive grey area, but I'll stick to my guns in saying that consumers are not responsible for using a legal loophole that
Except for the consumers who bought 100,000 keys and then recharged back their credit card and then sold them.
Right? I mean, that's the part where it becomes illegal. You just can't fucking do that. But the law has no response to stuff like that yet, right? Which is why this keeps on happening. So there needs to be a better way of checking if the keys are legitimate. And that needs to be done by G2A. Just to ensure fair play for all parties involved, right?
Yeah, I think out of all parties involved, they're probably in the position to actually verify the legitimacy of those keys.
Yeah.
There's got to be historical precedent for this somewhere, right? Like a secondary market where false or fake goods can also enter the market. That's got to be something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And like I said, it's weird because there's just something in the back of my mind that says, yeah, you're right. Like as a consumer, if you're buying it, it's not your fault if the key, if what you're buying is illegal. But I think once you get that knowledge becomes available and you're aware, hey, some of this can be illegal. I think at that point, there needs to be responsibility placed somewhere, either on the consumer or the person selling those goods, that, hey, something fishy is going on here. We need to at least make an attempt to,
but you never know. You never know if the key you're buying is legit or not legit, and it's up to the company that facilitates this transaction to make sure that what you are buying as the end user is kosher. It's up to G2A to figure out a system that does that. But yeah, this is a developing story, so we will probably have a lot of follow up next week on this.
Cool.
If you don't have anything else to add,
no,
I really don't.
No?
Interesting stuff, though.
It is, which is why we will take another look at this situation come next week. But this means that today's episode is actually over. So that's all the news. That's all the video games for this week. Video games are over for yet another week. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And please let us know what you think of this episode. Send an email to selectcharacters@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter @selectpodcast. Find us on Facebook. Find us on, basically fucking any service under the sun that you like to use. We are on it. We are also on Discord, and apparently Sam has been hanging out there the entire week. Don't let him down.
Don't let me down.
What else? Oh, yeah, iTunes. If you're listening to this on iTunes, please consider giving us a 4 or 5 star review, or give us a 2-star review if you don't like us. But please let us know why you don't like it. So my name was Chris Anderson, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Later.
Bye-bye.